Welcome back to AOL Build at the South by Southwest Festival. Right now we have two incredible musicians, and it's not the music festival yet, but might as well start soon. We have Big Sean and Elle, who are both incredible, have incredible albums out right now. Let's bring them both out. Come on out, guys. Hey, thanks for coming out.
What's up, big guy?
What's going on?
What up, though?
All right, guys. You both have two major releases right now, right? That are getting incredible press, incredible attention. What's that feel like for you, it being your first album?
I need this thing?
Yeah, you're gonna need that.
Okay, I'll talk to this mic. It's really fun.
Thanks so much, Elle, everybody. Goodbye. Sean, here. Okay, here you go.
Thanks, man.
Sean, so this is your third album, and you know your albums have been great, but this is getting attention that I feel like you haven't seen before. What's that like for you?
It's pretty cool.
Does it feel different?
It feels different, but we did this album different. You know, I recorded the whole thing in my house. I built a studio. I put my own money into it. You know, I didn't get a new car. I knew nothing. I just, put it all in there. And, I kind of just closed off from anybody who just had, trying to sway my opinion, my vision. I kind of didn't really have too many people from the label, no really A&Rs, just kind of like sticking to my vision. And luckily I had a lot of producers who saw it. All the features came to the crib, so I would have like Kanye in my house. I would have like John Legend up in my house, you know what I mean? And it was pretty, it was surreal. And even though those are my homies, it was just cool that they really saw the vision and like added to it and like, brought their A game. So it's cool.
Well, how would you describe the vision, and how would you say it differs from the past albums, outside of just interference possibly, but how this vision was different for you?
I mean, basically the whole concept, Dark Sky Paradise, it was just my album. I mean, my life in the last like year and a half, and the album was kind of like the time capsule for that. I was going through so much, man, breakups, falling out with friends, just, a whole bunch of hard things that a lot of people go through, you know what I mean? So I put my privacy out there, man, for the sake of, people and being entertained, and hopefully they can relate to it in their own ways and, draw from certain situations. And it was just really cool. It was a lot of crazy. And, my grandma died, which was a real big thing for me.
She's on the album. She appears on the album briefly,
Yeah,
right?
I think it's really cool that she's on the same track as, like, me, Kanye West, and John Legend. My grandma was, like, one of the first female black captains in World War II. She was one of the first female cops in Detroit. She was, she got her master's at U of M. She was a teacher, a counselor, and just, like, the best grandma. I'm talking about, like, home-cooked meals every day after school. You know what I mean? Special birthday cakes. And she's seen it all. She's seen Hitler and she's seen Obama in the same lifetime. You know what I mean? So I was telling her about this song. I wrote the song about her before she passed. I'm like, yo, Grandma, I'm writing you this song. She's like, don't write a song about me. I'm like, no, it's great. And I was coming home to play it for her for the holidays, and she passed on December 20th. But when I got there, it wasn't as sad as, she was definitely the backbone of the family, but it wasn't as sad as we thought, because we kind of still felt her consciousness. And then she was also 94. She was in a wheelchair. So, I think as a family, we kind of felt happy for her making her transition.
It's also such an incredible life that she lived that even at the end, you're kind of still celebrating her.
Yeah, of course. So.
Well, I feel like you can relate to a little bit of what he was saying about putting his personal life out there for the sake of entertaining others. In interviews I've seen with you, you've basically said that most of your inspirations comes from relationships, breakups.
You can hear it in her music, man.
Yeah, you can hear it. I mean, X's and O's, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, especially X's and O's, right?
It's just, I think the way that I get through, like, situations, mainly breakups, because I like to date a lot of people. I think
Who doesn't?
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I feel like songwriting is like a cool way for me to like focus my energy and like, think about how I feel about something, and I try to do it in kind of like a funny way to make myself laugh about it, because my grandma, who passed away last year as well, sorry, man, she would say, like, if you can't laugh at yourself, and like, what are you doing? So I try to make myself laugh, and I hope people laugh too, because breakups suck. A lot of people that I've dated hate me, so sorry, guys.
I don't think that you're alone there. I don't think there's anybody here who can say that everyone they've broken up with still likes them a lot. I really doubt that. Elle, so, talk about you know, you're putting your personal life out there. You're putting breakups out there. Has anyone gotten back to you about any of these songs?
In what way? Yeah.
Like maybe an email, maybe a G chat.
Yeah, I've gotten some letters, some hate letters.
You got
No,
hate
I'm just kidding. I've heard stories of like my friends who had, see ex-boyfriends, and they would, make side comments about my album or like the song that was about them on the album. And yeah, people like to. I almost cursed. I don't think I'm allowed to do that. People talk badly. People talk shit. But I do too. I wrote a whole album talking shit. So
you put the shit out there publicly for people to buy.
yeah, but the thing is about it is like there's beauty and vulnerability. So you put yourself out there and like you try to be honest, and like people hopefully will be open and take it for what it is, and try to be accepting. And I don't know. You just gotta do it. Be vulnerable. It's cool.
So you recorded your go ahead, Sean.
No, I was just saying.
Yeah.
That's right.
So your first album came out this year. You had hundreds of tracks. You said that you'd recorded yourself and sort of had to pare it down and figure out what you wanted to record in a major studio. Sean, this, as we said, this is your third album. If it was a year ago and you had met Elle and she was, going in to record her first album, what advice would you give to her? To someone recording their first album on a major label?
There's really no advice you can give because everybody's different. You know what I mean? Just like her story, she got the hang of it. She obviously executed it amazing. So anything I probably would have told her would have fucked her up or like messed her up. She like knew what she was doing. So I wouldn't. She knows what's up.
Did you seek advice or seek counsel at all when you were going into making this?
No, I don't really like to listen to anyone, so no. No, I did. Of course I did. I'm lucky to have a lot of friends who are talented musicians, and I would ask, like, dude, like, it was a long process to make this album. It was like 3 years to do it. And so I'd ask my friends and be like, just shut up and wait and just keep working. I was like, that sucks. Okay, fine. And I thought I was ready to put it out last year, and they were like, no, it's not ready. And I was like, why? No. And but I wouldn't have the album that I have now if I put it out last year. So everything, happens in its own time.
You got it to that level, and you was like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, oh, thank God I waited.
Yeah.
Wow.
What were you waiting for? If you can say, what was the holdup? Is that appropriate? I don't know. I don't know the record industry enough if that's appropriate.
No, I don't remember what it was. I think it was a song or something. I'm sorry. I've been in Texas for 2 days, so like, I've obviously been drinking Lone Star. Sorry.
We can drink this, right? This isn't for show, right? Because I've been sipping on it.
You can drink that. It's not prop water in the cup.
Yeah. Just making sure it hasn't been here for like 12 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Lyrically, on this album, Sean, it feels like you are going for something. It does seem like you're more in touch with something that's going on this album. I know you talked about your grandma. You talked about this vision, but even in reference to your career, so often on the album you are talking about the career that was and the career that's coming for you. It seems like you knew that this was going to drop and be the biggest thing for you.
Yeah, I mean, I hoped so. I just I put it out there. I wake up and I meditate, man. I'm like, I need that like 15 minutes every morning. You know what I'm saying?
Big meditation fan out there.
Yeah, meditation. Woo! Yeah. Nah, but I really do. And
you don't sound like a meditator.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just really had to get my mind right, man. And I just saw it. I visualized it. I'm into like manifesting all that, man. So I just kind of like put it out there, saw it in my head, and this is the first time I actually made music. I directed the music I was making in the sense of I used to make music from the perspective of like I gotta get this done. And then this time I literally was like, yo, I gotta make music that's gonna shock the world and people are gonna love and relate to and like live to and like scream out and cry to, all that. And I want to make music that's undeniably great. And that was a vibration I put off every single day. And it's just cool to see it. It's still a process. Like I said, nothing's perfect, but I feel like I'm definitely making progression, not just as an artist, but as a person. And when you make progression as a person, that affects everything you're doing, your business, your artistry, your family, you know what I mean? So that's just where I was at with it. And
well, did you direct some of the guests that you had on the album lyrically as well? Because I was telling you that I love the track with Lil Wayne on it, and one of the rhymes that he has is essentially something along the lines of like, I feel like Sean, I'm not shining. Maybe it's because I'm throwing up. Maybe it's because he's not throwing up gang signs. He's basically talking about like how you might feel as a star musician.
Yeah, he called me after he wrote that verse because he said, I feel like Sean, I don't get enough shine. Is it because he ain't got the tattoos, he ain't throwing up signs? Well, I'm going to throw up mine. And then he also said, like, you know, remember that if don't nobody remember you, they going to remember rap. So just spit it back and hope somebody digging that because this shit is deep. And he was just saying, he called me, you know.
It's a really good
Yeah,
really good verse.
I'm not signing Lil Wayne. So for another artist like that to big up, you know, another rapper, I really appreciated him putting his ego aside. And when I talked to him, he was just like, yo, I really meant that. You know, I'm just really impressed by you, just how you are as a person, your rap, your ability. And he was like, you know, I called it a long time ago. I think you're going to be one of the greats. So that was just cool to hear that from him because I don't make any money with Lil Wayne aside from the features we're on. You know what I mean? So you obviously got to respect Wayne for what he's done. You can't talk about rap music and not mention Lil Wayne. You know, he changed the game. So
absolutely. Who changed the game for UL musically? What were your influences, your inspirations going into this album?
Like, on the album, or like who influenced me?
Who influenced you?
Oh, Aretha Franklin and Otis Redding and Al Green, AC/DC.
Damn.
But so if I start meditating, you think he'll be on my album? Maybe. I'm gonna start meditating. How do you do?
Sorry. I thought that's what we did
some
when someone said
some
meditating.
people don't need it though. You may not need it because you're already on that level.
I just can't sit still.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I used to be like that, and then I just got in it. It's like cool. It's like a vacay.
Well, the whole process of meditation, or the idea behind meditation, is to clear your head, right? Every time I've tried to meditate, I get really frustrated because I'm trying to clear my head and it's not getting clear. So I just give up.
Man.
I mean, how do I do it?
You wanna know how I do it? Yeah. Well, how I do it is I close my eyes, I start breathing, and I concentrate on my breathing, and that's all I concentrate on, right? That's it.
But your head's not actually clear. You're concentrating on your breathing.
No, I know. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to singularly, because you can't just not think about anything, because then you're going to think about not thinking about anything.
That's what I do.
So you concentrate on your breathing, man. Then, you know, I feel all the way relaxed. You know, I keep doing that for a while. And then I concentrate on the things I'm trying to manifest, the things I'm trying to get done. And not only do I concentrate on it, I imagine how I would feel to already have that. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, if I was like, all right, I want $1 million, I imagine how I would feel to already have $1 million. And I also accept that there's infinite ways to get this $1 million. I accept that. And, you know, also I give thanks to the universe. So, you know, while I'm doing that, I imagine myself, this is so crazy. I've never really explained this.
This is amazing.
But I imagine like a higher self of me, like a beam of light that goes up like thousands of feet in the air above everything. And it's a metaphor, I feel like, in my head for just being above everything. You're above, like, all the bullshit. You're above everything, you know, negative, anything, and your whole mood changes, literally. You know what I'm saying? So from there, I visualize myself getting filled with light, and then I just concentrate on what I'm trying to meditate until I feel like it's all the way downloaded and synced in, and that's how I do it.
You're a really good person.
My
God.
Elle, what was your morning ritual this morning?
I woke
up. But like I said, you know, that's not for everybody.
No,
man. That's just for me. You know what I'm saying? Whoever.
No, but I'd love to tell you about my morning. I woke up. I ate the rest of the Taco Bell burrito that was on my bed.
Yeah.
You know?
I do that too. I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm some, you know.
No, I'm just messing. It's beautiful. It's just, I'm a terrible person. That's shit. No, but that's amazing. It's
commendable. I mean, like I said, I've tried that. I've definitely tried it numerous times, and I find it impossible to get to that point. It's amazing that you get that.
Deep, yeah.
Oh, I'm with you on the Taco Bell burrito.
Don't hate my
I am too, except mine's just Chipotle burrito.
Oh.
Probably again, better person. So.
You're silly, man. Silly.
Doing what I can.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to me. Both of you have both of you release incredible music, and then you have aspects of your career that I think when you do press, lots of people want to focus on. You have your father, you have coming up with Kanye, right, and being on Rock Nation now. I've seen interviews where people are like, you had dinner with, Jay and Beyonce. What was that like? And it's like, no, this guy also just released a really amazing album. She just released this incredible
It's like,
album.
what was the dinner like?
Yeah, exactly. Does that get frustrating? Do you ever want to be like, can we just talk about this? Notice my roundabout way to get you to talk about it.
Yeah, that was a good one. To be honest with you, man, if I had to do without interviewing and stuff like that, I would. I'm doing it for the music, and I do it, I do like to talk to people, but when they ask stuff like that, obviously, I'm not even, it doesn't even really matter to me. It's just like, this is what you want to know about, I kind of feel like it's irrelevant, but.
It's also possibly maybe a roundabout way, but it could bring people to the music, hopefully. I mean,
yeah, that's
I don't know
true.
how rumor mills bring people to music, but if it does,
Yeah. And like I said, man, I'm a cool dude. Like, I'm down to talk about anything, but it's just like, I'm there for the music, I'm there to have that connection with the people, so.
Elle?
Next time somebody asks you about a dinner with famous people, just tell them what you ate. I think that would be a good way. I hate those questions, but they ask them in every interview, just like you are right now.
Barely asking.
You're dancing around it, but you're asking.
I would like to, I think it's partially, whatever. We don't have to talk about how I asked it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm going to drink my prop water.
Yeah. And, I usually just kind of like do my own version of dancing around it like I'm doing right now. And just, I don't know, I usually say something weird and then they get uncomfortable.
People ask you about your dad a lot?
Yeah, every interview. And I'm just, who?
It's something every part of the entertainment industry, reporters and certain parts of the media want to know personal lives, but it seems something so specific to music because reporters, so few of them actually know how to talk about music. So the stories get built more around personal lives and more about this other stuff. So
deep.
I just came back down.
People just like talking and asking about famous people, so I don't know.
Right.
People worry about the wrong things, man.
Yeah.
People are worried about the wrong things.
I agree.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Not all the time. People love the drama and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Reality TV type shit,
Wait, don't hate on reality TV, though.
No. I'm just entertaining. It's great.
Elle, what's your favorite reality TV show?
Bad Girls Club.
Hey.
What's your favorite reality TV show?
I have no idea, man. I don't know. It's a hard one.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot of good ones.
Yeah. Elle, do you prefer touring to in studio? What's your?
Yeah, totally.
Let's switch that right up.
Touring's really fun. I like to be on stage. I mean, being in the studios is awesome. But I got into this because I love performing and I love waking up in different cities and drinking beer and playing with my band, who's my family, and it's really fun. Every show is different, even if you're playing the same songs every night. It's like you get a different energy and a whole different experience. And I'm really grateful to all the people who've taken me on tour with them. I still don't understand why people keep letting me, but it's really cool. I just love to play.
How long has your band been with you?
Guys? How long? 2.5 years, yeah. Oh, boy, I really know them
how
well.
is she as a band leader? Does she crack the whip or is she sweet?
He's lying. No,
I would not be the time for him to cop to that.
No, I know. Watch it, Pauly. No, I try to take the middle seat in the cot because I'm the smallest. Not the skinniest, but I'm the smallest. But I like them. I feel like, why would I not be nice to my band? They make me sound good, So it's like I always make sure that they have everything, especially Simon. He's a real diva.
Sean, I want to go back to this album because there was something that I noticed about this album as well, and I know that.
You want to ask me about touring, man?
Do you want to talk about touring?
No, I'm just playing. Go ahead. She answered it great. She said everything perfect. Different energies, different cities, same songs. She got it down pat. Yeah.
Do you like touring?
Yeah, I love touring. I like both, though. I'm the type of guy who's like, when I'm in the studio, I'm like, damn, we got to get back on the road. And when I'm on the road, I'm like, damn, we got to get back in the studio. You know what I mean? So it's cool, but that's part of it. That's the reason you make the music is for the people. And then when you see the people who you touching or who affecting or who yelling out, I don't fuck with you, or to the top of their lungs, means a lot. So.
I guess my question for the album was, Kanye's a executive producer on it, right? He's a producer on it.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an element to it that I found where it seemed sort of referential, or at least inspired by some of Kanye's more recent albums, like Yeezus, like Twisted Fantasy, in this sort of idea of it being a concept album, not just like track, but sort of one single shot that was quick, fast, and kind of beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Did you talk to him about that at all? Did you guys?
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of albums though, like Ready to Die. A lot of just way even before then. Wu-Tang, doing concept albums. But this was the first album where I feel like he was the most involved, but at the same time, he came and brought the song All Your Fault with me, him and Travis Scott to the table, as a reference. And he heard the song Blessings with me and Drake and, hopped on that at the very last minute after the album was turned in. And then when he heard One Man Could Change the World with me and John Legend, he was like, yo, I got to hop on this just to because he felt he could bring his perspective, his own energy to it. But really, he did have a say-so in it, and he was also, always there. But it was kind of just still what I constructed, and he was just involved in the sense of just yeah, you're doing the right thing. Or even with the song I Don't Fuck With You, he put the sample in the song, which is a very important instrumental part. The you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he definitely lended his experience and his knowledge for things like that, which I feel like helped take it to that level. So he was an instrumental part for sure.
It's a different process doing a rap album than doing an album like yours, in the sense that I feel like guests that you have on it, people who are influencing you, people who may be advising you or producing it, they take a bit more of a back seat than I think on an album like Sean's, where the credits are sort of listed and they're a little bit more upfront, especially when it's someone like Kanye. But did you have people on this as your first album that were sort of really trusted advisors and influencers and really sort of molding your music a little bit more for the recording?
Yeah, I had a lot of different people on this album, and I did a song with Jeff Basker and Mark Ronson. We recorded in Sun Studio.
Jeff Basker.
Oh yeah, that's my dude, man.
The dog right there.
Yeah,
it's a homie.
He did a lot of the album, and I am super grateful to him, and yeah, and
you've got a fan right here, a big fan.
Well, she's amazing. Yeah.
Well, I don't know it. I had no idea how to make an album, and I didn't know that I was going to have so many different producers, but all the ones that I worked with were just incredible, and they all were totally different. And so you kind of it's weird. It's like when you first meet a producer or a songwriter, it's like a blind date. And it's like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's like, get me out of here. I'm like, oh my God, Chuck, get me out of here. Send me a cab or something. I've only stormed out once, but that guy deserved it.
What made you storm out?
I can't say that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Come on, man. Take it easy.
Deep, man. Also for my album, I had a lot of new producers, a lot of new talent. This was some of their first placements, like Amir, who plays in my band, who does the keys. He produced the song One Man Could Change the World. And, or even this guy, Rob Got Beats, did the intro. And my producer, Key Wayne, he did a lot of the album. He got 4 or 5 on there. But it was a lot of new talent that came to the table. And, I feel like the new talent is what really, they bring a new energy than some of the veterans, some of the, people who've been doing it. So I feel like that was really an instrumental part of having them know my vision, and then them bringing their energy to it from a perspective where they haven't ever done anything. So they're just going blindly off of instinct and intuition. And I think that helped out a lot.
Your dad appears on the album briefly too,
yeah.
Right? Where did that recording come from?
My dad is a G, first of all. He's G'd up. I just posted a picture with him on Instagram. He's wearing a silk shirt. I said, who the fuck does this guy think he is, man? Come on. And, yeah, basically my brother was recording a conversation with me and him. We were coming back from a concert in Detroit. It was a Wiz Khalifa concert. And he randomly hit me up and was like, come to the show. And I was there visiting my grandma. So we all went. And my dad, he's a player, man. He's drinking champagne. He was a little lifted.
What's one of the things that he says, where he says something along the lines where he's like, I'm a brilliant motherfucker, but I'm also modest.
Yeah, yeah. He was just it was funny because what really that conversation was like a 45-minute conversation my brother recorded without me and my dad knowing. And we were talking so much, and my dad was like so like, you know, tipsy that he thought it was funny. But when I listened back to this conversation, it was really emotional because my dad was saying stuff like that I didn't hear when I was in the moment. He was like, man, you know, I just wish we could take a vacation, just me, you, and your brother, man. No cameras, no interviews, you know, this and that. And, you know, and the part I used, he was like, you know, Sean, it's no wonder you're at where you're at, man. You know, you talk from your head, but people hear you from the heart, you know, and that's why they fuck with you, man. They can see your bullshit. They know when you're lying. They know when you're keeping it real, you know. And I thought that was so cool because I didn't even hear him like that. And it's just crazy how much sometimes you don't hear people when you're in the moment. And, you know, and yesterday I just got back from the Bahamas with him and Cancun because that was one of the things. I was like, man, I really need to be a better son, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm so focused on the work that, you know, my dad's like 65 years old. Who knows what could happen? You know, you got to make sure you make that time. But so we use that soundbite. It's at the end to win some or lose some. And, yeah.
I want to see if anybody in the audience here has any questions. Do you guys have any questions that you want to ask? You want to throw out a question?
Just
right here?
wait for
I'll repeat the question
before you ask the question.
Yeah, just shout it. I'll repeat it. Oh, they're running you a microphone. I have no idea what I'm doing.
So I think you brought up a really good point about getting fresh producers in the mix. How comfortable do you feel when there's a different genre like EDM or somebody comes from there and says they want to do a track with you?
Great. I mean, I just work with Calvin Harris. I work with R.L. Grime, just, you know, different people, different genres. You know, I worked with like Fall Out Boy, a lot of just different people, and it's cool. That's what I like doing the most is trying new things. So,
Elle, are you committed to one genre? Do you get worried when someone comes in that isn't necessarily a producer of the particular type of music that you make?
No, I think that's how you can get, it's like a way to step outside of yourself and get out of your head and bring something fresh. And, I mean, all the different producers that I worked with were, not, you know, they weren't all rock and roll. I mean, he knows Jeff Basker. It's like that guy, he kills it on anything, you know? But, yeah, I think that's how to stay fresh and, like, create new music and new sounds. And, like, I think it's cool. You can't shut it out, you know? You always have to be open to try new things.
Right here, down in front, you with the hat and the jacket.
Hello. What new acts are inspiring you guys? Obviously, you're probably hella busy, so you're not able to go out to shows as much during the festival. But if you could, like, what new acts are really inspiring and cool? And on the flip side, what legends would you want to collaborate with?
The legend is the queen of all queens is Dolly Parton's, like, my idol. There's a band called Horse Thief I really like a lot. It's new.
I like Horse Thief. I've heard them.
Yeah, they're rap.
man, that's a lot of people I would, like, you mean like alive, right?
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of pressure there. One alive, one dead.
Man, I would have
dig
loved
up
to. Obviously, it's gonna sound so cliche, but I would have loved to have rapped with Biggie. Like, I feel like
Me too.
Yeah. I just heard a verse from him yesterday, and he was like, it's just so crazy how far ahead of his time. I don't think people understand the blueprints he was laying in those raps. I mean, it's raps I hear from myself 3 years ago that I'd be like, that shit was kind of, I could have did better. But I listen to Biggie's raps, and it's like, okay, this guy did this 20 years ago. And, like, you could hear, you could hear Eminem, you could hear myself, you could hear so many rappers. I feel like he really laid a blueprint. It's really crazy, if you really just listen to Biggie, like his rhyme schemes, his patterns were just off the charts, man. I would have loved to collab with him. And as far as new artists, there's so many, man, that I like, admire and respect, from some that aren't even that new. I mean, some of them are my friends. Travis Scott is one of my favorite artists. It's artists in Detroit, my homie Early Mac. There's man.
There's a lot.
It's so many. It's like hundreds, They're just all popping up through my head. Skepta from different the UK to here to there to Detroit to so on and so forth. So yeah.
We have time for one more question. Does anyone raise a hand? Right here. You have a mic already.
Hey.
That's great.
right here in the front. My name's Dana, and I was just wondering, you guys have such crazy schedules all the time. How do you find time for yourself? I guess you have meditation, but is there something that keeps you like energy flowing all the time? Obviously, maybe some of that is from fans, but is there you time? And then how do you keep yourself motivated all the time when you have such a crazy schedule, like being in the Bahamas yesterday or on a crazy concert tour?
You go first.
I don't really make that much time for myself. That's why I take that 15 minutes. But I really am, I kind of just give a lot of myself to, whatever's going on.
I think sometimes it's an incorrect assumption to feel like you're not giving time to yourself by doing work or doing because if you love your work and if you love making music and touring, that is time for yourself in so many ways.
Yeah, it is. But you can also not do shit and lay around and, watch TV shows you like, So that's what I mean. But it's all like he said, though. Like he said, it is fun, doing what you love to do. So it's not, obviously, if you didn't have a passion for it, there's no way you could dedicate yourself like that. But, I mean, I do, when I get the chance, I do watch Family Guy, you know what I'm saying? American Dad. I kick back, watch like a couple episodes before I go to sleep sometimes. But, it's cool being busy, though, man. I'd rather be, like, doing stuff than, like, to be at my mom's house back,
Binge watching Family Guy.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, back in the day, so, yeah.
Elle?
I think when I have like a lot of time on my hands, it gets really dangerous, and I get into like horrible situations, and I just go a little bit wild. I'm trying this new thing called being a good person, and I'm learning that it's hard. But when I have time off, like I like to hang out with my dogs, and I don't really leave my house, and but I still play music. Like that's what I do. It's like try to get better at the banjo, and don't really leave my room, and. But I like to be busy. It's fun. We do what we love. That's who gets to say that. It's cool.
Absolutely.
There's so much to do, man. Like she said, the banjo. I'm trying to learn instruments. I'm trying to like sing and shit.
Well, you're doing a pretty good job of it.
Thank you.
Guys, thanks so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And both of these incredible artists are going to be playing here tonight, so make sure you guys stick around, watch them perform. And you guys watching this streaming on AOLBuild.com, stick around. We got another segment coming up for you in just a few minutes.